Hello, welcome back to Snark and Spark. My name is Emily, and tonight is Flossmas day 15, and it is 8 o'clock at night, and I'm filming really late because today was a busy day, and I did not film this morning. So, what happened today? First and foremost, I'm going to move you over to my advent calendars. Hang out with me. Today was day 7 for our advent calendars. Caden's cocoa is candy cane cocoa, which is exactly as it sounds. Mine was called 'Tis the Season coffee, which is aromatic spices dusted with cinnamon powder. It was pretty good. We have another Christmas card to add to our garland, which is not on. Now it is. My tree has pretty much died. I need to add more batteries to that poor thing. And then in our thing, we're pretty much down into the cookies. So the dogs are outside because, can you tell? Sorry, it's dirty. It's trying to snow, which is exciting because she's not a fan because she doesn't have a thick coat. But Eisenhower, as I've mentioned, is part husky, and he loves the cold. Absolutely loves it. I'm walking over here because I forgot I needed something to show you. So yesterday was incredibly busy. Oh yes, there's my accent wall. I don't think I've ever actually shown it. There's my accent wall. The blue is called Blueberry Muffin, and those are actually felt boards, like felt panels, and my husband put those up in the shape of mountains. So yes. You might hear Bryant in the background because he's currently in the office playing video games, which is why I'm in our kitchen because I'm trying to stay out of the way. Caden is upstairs. He's supposed to be getting ready for bed, but he was also playing video games. So I'm gonna have to check on him in a bit. But yesterday ended up being really busy. I pretty much got everything I wanted to. I went to the store, got shopping, got all the things I needed, and came home and then promptly spent the rest of my evening wrapping presents. I still have a couple presents I need to wrap tonight because they arrived today and they need to come with us to Indiana because they're for our niece, which brings me to purchases I made. So we got her like one of those water doodle pads. But then I also got her these. They're busy books. So we have dinosaurs. But then it was a 2-pack. And then this one is a farm, which it sounds great. Except for the books didn't come put together. It came like this with the rings. These are all the like Velcro pieces and all of the books and pages and things. So I have to go through and pop all of those out. And Bryant was like, sounds like a job for Brittany and Pat, which is my sister and brother-in-law. And I was like, no, not gonna do that. You too, buddy, go shower. That's cruel. Like, they have a toddler. She's not even 2 yet. And Brittany's pregnant. And she's gonna open it, she's gonna see it, and she's immediately gonna want to play with it. That's not cool. That's not fair. And Auntie M and Uncle B are not those people. So I'm gonna spend my night putting these books together and then putting it back in the boxes because I think this box is like perfect. So I'm just gonna leave it in the box, wrap the boxes. Besides, that kind of thing doesn't bother me to do. I know that I will have fun flipping through it and messing with it, so like it's not really that big a deal for me to sit down and do. I'm just gonna put on some YouTube videos and work on it. My other purchase is this. So this is My Reading Life, a book journal created by Anne Bogle. I own one of her books. I was given it by my mother-in-law. It's a nonfiction book called I'd Rather Be Reading. but I learned this year that using like, I had like a happy planner as my reading tracker and it just didn't work. It became too much to upkeep and I wasn't using it. Like a weekly tracker didn't work for me as a book journal, right? And you know how in planners you have like your monthly dashboard and like landing pages, as I call them. So you have like the calendar, right? The full month calendar. But then you also usually have a couple pages before or after that to write down like notes and stuff. I call those the landing pages. In my personal tracker, in my personal planner, I never use that. Obviously, I use my stitchy ones and my plum paper planner. I use that. And but in my personal planner, I use the monthly layout. Like I look at the full month. I do fill that out. I fill that out with our bills, important things. So that way, if I open that page and look at it at a glance, I see what's like going on for the day. And then I specifically go to the week for what's actually happening, right? But I don't use those landing pages. So what I started doing the like last month, and I even did it this month, was I've been putting my reading goals in those landing pages, my monthly reading goals in those front landing pages. And that has worked really, really nicely. So I'm going to keep doing that in my personal planner. I'm going to keep using those like monthly pages for the reading goals. I'll use my calendar and then my weekly as usual. But then I'm going to use this as like a book log because this is full of reading lists. So why I like this so much, I looked at a bunch of them and I've been watching videos. It's got enough room for 100 different books, and I am going to have a goal to read 100 books next year. So there's enough to track 100 books. You have a space. It tells you what book number it is. Like I just opened to book number 24 and 25. And then you've got in this sidebar here, we have fiction or nonfiction, date started, date finished. Then it says my ratings out of 5. And there's one that says my enjoyment, craft, and then overall. And then that bottom is I'd recommend this too. Then we've got a whole info section. We've got title, author, genre, length, publisher, year published, themes, how I discovered this book, memorable quotes, thoughts, and impressions. And like, it's just a page. This is big enough for me. I don't need a bunch of room. I usually don't really write really big in-depth reviews or anything like that, but I do like that it's enough space where I can write down like a quote or two. I try to find a quote that I do and really, really enjoy from each book that I read. And then like just what I thought, right? Kind of thing. But then throughout the book, there are, I like this contents page, so you can also write down the title of each book. So if you want to see them, you can flip to them directly. But we've got introduction, getting reading, book lists, genre favorites, seasonal selections. So she's got a book list for all 4 seasons. Then a my to be read list. So I can write down books I want to read, and that's several pages long. And then spread throughout the reviews, as you can see, are a way, there's one, and they're like interactive things. So there's one for reading goals. There's one, 5 ways to get more out of your reading life, 5 tips to help you read more, tips for overcoming a reading rut, a book club guide, 10 questions that work for any book discussion. Then another book list, wonderfully discussable books. And then there's tools for the reading life. Then at the very end, we have more book lists featuring what should I read next. And I kind of look through all of them, and she's got books for different genres. She has books for nonfiction. She has books, like audiobooks narrated by the author, riveting mysteries, books about books in bookstores, books to take you around the world, food memoirs, extra long books, feel-good fiction, classics. And I love that because they're book lists of things that you wouldn't necessarily think to look up. There are also like these pages of like book quotes filled throughout, favorites and other logs reflecting on my reading year, conclusion, and then the index. I love this, and I would really, my goal is obviously, like I said, $100, but I want to sit down and I want to use this, and I would love to fill this up by the end of the year next year for 2023. So then at the end of the year, I will put a sticker on the spine saying what year it was for, or years, ideally just 2023, and I would have no problem buying this again if I really enjoyed it. So that's for me. The last thing I want to show you that is stitchy wise, I promise. So I did not get to stitch last night. Probably won't stitch tonight, but I did FFO something. I pulled out a 2021 finish I had done called Noxious Crocodile, that I actually was a test stitcher for. You can find it on Etsy. I believe the seller is Fine Frog Stitching. You can find the pattern there. Again, it's Noxious Crocodile. I was a test stitcher. So I finished it, blah, 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 blah. I remember stitching it on a plane. Like, I feel like it was when we went on a vacation. I stitched it on a plane. But I finished it, and here it is. I'm so pleased with this. I think it looks amazing. So I remember showing this piece. I love this piece, right? All this is an 8x6, I believe, stretched canvas. Just like it was a plain white canvas. This is cardstock scrapbooking paper. I have it, I kept the thing. 12 by 12 that I folded over and stapled to the canvas. 12 by 12. My husband says it looks like leather, which I agree, but it's really just sparkly black. That I stapled to this canvas, and then, so I had washed it previously, but then I went through and I ironed it again, and then I have fusible interfacing, which just you add on to typically fabrics like shirts, to be worn, like clothing. You add it to like collars and cuffs and things like that to give it some sturdiness, to make it more stiff. So I added that. I did iron on fusible interfacing to the back of it to give it some structure and to help with like fraying and stuff, because I knew I was going to cut it out. And then I just took my rotary cutter, cut out the desired shape for the most part. I have like a cutting mat and a cutting block, and I just cut off excess fabric until I started getting closer to it, and then I just kind of, using my cutter, cut around the shape I liked, and then took my fabric scissors, which, as we all know, only use for fabric, and that's it. And just softened up some of those harsher edges to make it more rounded throughout the whole thing. Once I did that, then I went and I used fabric glue, specifically fabric glue, and then put it on there and attached it to the canvas. So it's a little further this way than I would really like, but so it's not quite center, but like, who cares? I did it myself. So, and I was really proud. I showed Brian every step of the way. And then when I finished, I ran out into the living room and showed him. And he was like, if you can hear him, that's pretty much what he did though. He was like, oh my gosh, it looks really good. He couldn't stop touching it and like looking at it, and like wouldn't give it back to me. And then was like, where are we putting it? Like, I don't know. So now I need to find a place to hang it. I kind of want to put it in the office, I think. So I'm excited. But why was today busy? Well, I worked. And then at work was my department holiday party. So we ordered pizza. I volunteered to pick it up since I work at noon. So I just picked it up on my way to work, brought the pizza in, and we sat around together. We had pizza, we had lunch, we had some sodas. My boss gave us all a card with a gift card in it for like Target, I think. I did the Bath and Body Works. I went to Bath and Body Works to return those candles. While I was there, got other things I didn't need, but I grabbed gifts for my coworkers. They all loved the sets, thought they're great. I got little sets for everyone. I don't think I said what I actually got them. I got little sets, like little 3-piece sets of like a body lotion, a hand sanitizer, and a body spray. I know I specifically grabbed one for my male, I have one male coworker. I specifically grabbed one for him that it did not have a body spray in it. I don't remember what was in his though. Like 2 of them didn't have body sprays, which is fine. But I tried to make sure I bought something that would be essentially the same all across the board, right? But I didn't want him to be left out, which we all laughed because the one I grabbed for him said like man of the moment on it. They all had some weird saying and his was man of the moment. And we all got a kick out of that. And I was like, I mean, I bought this one for him, but I guess anyone could take it if they really wanted to. But it was really fun. It was a good time. And then we had cookies. We also had cookies that were delicious. They're called fluffy cookies by our local bakery. It's just like a sugar cookie that they've put like icing over. Like the hard icing, like that is like thin, like a glaze, but it hardens. But then they take like the soft icing, like whipped icing, and put that on top of it. So then they're tall. So it's like a really thin sugar cookie. It was like thin sugar cookies, right? But then like icing. And it was really good, but it was really sweet. And then there was a bunch of other cookies in general because the day before, so yesterday on my day off, my work hosted like a cookie share. So then a bunch of cookies were already in like all of the break rooms. It was just a lot, but it was good. And then I got off work at 5 and Bryant was like, I have a whole story about what happened with dinner last night, but essentially our order got messed up and Bryant and I didn't get the food that we were going to eat. Oh, because he got to come home early last night. I'm all over the place. That was also part of it. Was he was supposed to work all day yesterday. He ended up being able to come home early, so he was home by dinner because one of his other employees was like, I've got nothing going on, I'll come close. So then Bryant came home, but our dinner order got messed up. It was supposed to be delivered and we essentially didn't get, we ordered 3 entrees and the only thing we actually got were the sides. Bryant thinks that our delivery driver took the food, which would be a shame. I like to think the best of people. Admittedly, I think he's right because unfortunately, we called the restaurant and the restaurant said, no, I remember your order. I packed up your 2 bags and I gave them to the delivery driver because we ordered through one of those delivery services. And I gave them to the delivery driver. I definitely gave both to the delivery driver. We only got 1 bag. I have it set up for them to leave it and to send me a text. And so usually it comes through their cell phones. I did call the driver and was like, hi, I just wanted to check real quick. Do you have a second bag of food for us? Because we don't have all of our food. And they were like, no, I only got 1 bag. So, I mean, who knows, right? I don't know, but Bryant does think that the delivery driver was not being truthful and that they did have our bag and just didn't give it to us. But, so it was kind of sad. Bryant and I scrounged. We gave Caden the food we did get. And so then he called me and was like, do you want the food you didn't get last night?
What? What are you talking at?
I'm just recording a video, that's all. I'm just filming for Flossmas. That's all. Would you like to say hi?
No.
But that's all I got. But anyway, so it was a really busy day and I'm being stared at. I'm embarrassed now and he's embarrassed. So we're going to wrap this up for today's Do Good December. Today is December 15th. The Do Good December is to contact an older neighbor, and do something to brighten their day, which I absolutely love. I think I've mentioned before, most of our neighbors are actually retired. They are older. They are senior citizens. So I get to do that every day that I interact with my neighbors anyways, and that's great. But I'm going to end this one here. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Do some good.